Hey allihopa, hi everyone, and welcome to another video from Say It in Swedish.
Hej allihopa, jag heter Lane, jag kommer från Förenta Staterna och jag talar svenska.
I'm your host JOAKIM, and today we're gonna take a look at a few of Sweden's new laws. But before we start, I just wanted to remind you of sayitinswedish.com, where you can get more free content for learning Swedish, as well as my Patreon, where you can support me and what I do on this channel. The sun is out, and here we go. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child has basically been ratified by Sweden for about 30 years now, for about as long as the convention has been around basically. But now, since 2020, it's written into Sweden's law. So that gives the court more room to rule in favor of children, basically, because it's now the law. It's not just something, it's not a guideline, basically. It's written into the law. Some people say the articles are too vague, but I think this is a good thing anyway. Also, the minimum punishment of exploitation of a child through the purchase of a sexual act has been raised from a fine to prison time. So this is a good year for children in Sweden, I think. Jag har något I örat. Attacks on so-called blåljuspersonal, blue light personnel as we say in Sweden, which includes firefighters, policemen, ambulance personnel, and so on. Those attacks have increased during the last couple of years, which is obviously not a good thing because they are doing their job, they are trying to save lives, etc. And it's just stupid and idiotic to assault them and attack them because if they're trying to save someone's life, then you should just stay away. So, with this new law, it's now a more severe crime to attack and assault these people that are these public servants that are on duty and doing their job, which is a very good thing. Hopefully people will reconsider, because it's not just an assault now or whatever they are gonna do, I don't know. Now it's a more severe crime, and furthermore, the punishment of severe violence and threats against public servants, the punishment has now been raised to the minimum would be 1 year in prison, which I think is good. Speaking of crimes, the definition of murder has been modified so that it will be easier to pass a life sentence. In Sweden we have about, I think, 3 definitions of crimes that includes someone killing someone else, like if it's accidental or self-defense, or planned like murder. And now it will be easier to define murder, I guess, and to pass a life sentence. The Swedish police, the National Security Police, the Swedish Customs, and the Coast Guard will now have the ability to set up camera surveillance without an extra permit, because before they needed a permit for each case where they would want to have camera surveillance, but it just took too much time to get a permit. So now they can put up camera surveillance if they feel the need to. They have to decide if it's of importance to do this. So this is a very interesting thing, because in Sweden you can't just put up cameras. And now these, let's say these authorities, they need to decide for themselves if the need for like surveillance is greater to solve a crime than it is to like keep someone's privacy, basically. Sweden is a country in which the use of cash is decreasing the quickest in the world, I think, or at least almost the quickest. So the government has decided that banks now need to provide ATMs all over the country. It cannot be that we don't have any ATMs, or we don't have cash, because when everything goes to hell, basically all, you know, when the tech is failing us, and I guess if a foreign power would shut down everything, then we would still need to pay so that the economy doesn't collapse, right? So we need cash as a safety net, basically. And the banks, they have basically just shut down their ATMs because we don't really need them. So the government is now passing a law, or has passed a law, that says that, well, you need to provide ATMs here and there. I don't know all the details, but that's a very interesting countermeasure, I guess. I thought the government and the banks were very interested in having everything digitally available, but I guess the government, they are thinking a little bit ahead on, you know, having a safety net so that the whole economy doesn't collapse if the tech is down. And I think this one will be of interest for you if you're a foreigner studying in Sweden. So now, after you've graduated, you have the ability to extend your residence permit to 1 year so that you can apply for jobs or start a business. And I think it's very good that Sweden is now taking advantage of the people that are getting an education in Sweden. So that's a good thing. And another thing that I think is pretty good is that asylum seekers cannot choose where to live in Sweden now, because a lot of them, they decide to live together, which is nice. They live together with people of their culture and so on, which seems nice. But the problem is that most of them end up in socially deprived areas. So yeah, basically to fight that, we need this law to be able to integrate people more into the Swedish society. So I think this is good. I get that it's nice to be with people that speak your language if you have fled from a country, for instance, and so on. But if you look at the facts, these areas are usually, they are areas where only people of one culture live, or just foreigners, or people that are a bit socially deprived, like people that are on social benefits and so on. I'm not judging or anything. I just say that it would be good to spread them out a little bit, and that's what this law is all about. And lastly, we have something that will change Sweden a bit fundamentally, so to speak. So Sweden is divided in several administrative areas, like we have municipalities, kommuner, and we have län, and we have landsting. But landsting will change into region already. We have Region Skåne, I think, Region Gotland. These are landsting that are already called region, and now every landsting will be called a region. So landsting as a term will disappear. And if you didn't know about this, maybe I should have made a video in the past about how Sweden is administrated. But now you know that this will disappear, which is very interesting. If you want to learn more about Sweden's new key acts and ordinances, I have a link in the description down below to an official source. And if you want to learn more Swedish, you can do that on sayitinswedish.com. If you want to support me, you can do that on Patreon. Links are in the description down below. And if you want to make an intro, information about that is also in the description down below. Okej? Det var allt för den här videon. Ha det bra, puss och kram. Vi ses. Hej då! And of course, I want to say a huge thank you to my patrons, especially Kelly Primo, Chris Whitmire, Lane Bartlett, and Lily. Thank you guys so much. And if you want some more content, you can stop by sayitinswedish.com, sprichmalschwedish.com, or watch another video. This one, for instance. Click here. Now. Hej allihopa, hi everyone! Oj.